What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Beta Memoirs. And today has been most interesting. We did start off with the market being closed on Monday yesterday for Memorial Day, for honoring those who have fallen. And into today, we looked straight out the gate like we wanted to run. A lot of tech started popping. Only to kind of just stagnate and slowly roll over. There was a couple different stocks that actually tore up today. Ultimately, that's where we kind of been in the market, is looking for those stocks that have momentum and kind of playing those. The rotation has been a slow grind, and I know it's been difficult, as opposed to just throwing all your money in Tesla and just letting it run. $300 a share would be great, but considering what what the market's been giving us, and seeing strength kind of spread out into value, kind of spread out all throughout growth and everything else, we are still living that. And one thing I've been talking about is on Wednesday, again, we have the other report coming out, essentially for the FOMO meeting that is coming on the 15th and 16th of this month. So those essential meeting notes, essentially the guidelines to what that meeting is going to be about, they come out tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I think that is why we are seeing a bunch of chop. Again, these numbers don't typically play a big role in the normal market, but considering what is going on with inflation, the pandemic, and everything that's going on, there are a lot of eyes on these reports, and so these reports make a big difference in what is about ready to happen as far as how the Fed is going to go ahead and tackle inflation. So that's why there's been a lot of stalemates, a lot of pumps and stalls, because of these numbers, waiting on these numbers, waiting to see what the Fed is going to do. So that's why the market is not just straight running. It stalls. It's been stalling quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the chart. So today, as I said, just a lot of, this is Tesla here, but let me jump back to SPY. So again, we had a nice pump. Considering yesterday, that was actually something quite interesting, is yesterday on ES, actually, there was this big sell-off over on Monday. On Monday, and then come Tuesday, we had this nice push up. Again, got rejected and sold back off. Again, we are playing range here, so nothing extraordinarily out of control here. We're not crashing, not a bear market, not anything like that. We are having this slow melt up, but again, every time we try to gain some momentum, there's always some kind of numbers that are coming out that are essentially stalling the push up. So what I'm actually expecting tomorrow with this stall, again, there's not much to see really on the SPY. Again, we had that push up and then we just fell on the stall back. So we're just back into this range. We've been playing a lot of really tight ranges, which can be rough if you are not a scalper, or if you don't trade at all intraday or overnight, or looking for momentum plays. There's a couple ones like BYND, AMC, GME. Well, GME and AMC are ones that I typically trade, but considering the circumstances, a lot of the momentum has been carried into the meme stock. So I've been kind of playing more AMC because I'm more comfortable with AMC, not so much GME. AMC was pretty highly priced before the pandemic, so that's why I am more reluctant to stay with AMC as opposed to GME. But being said, so SPY, again, back in range, 2 o'clock, we get that report, and see the beige book comes out at 2 o'clock, so we have to see how that plays. I think as long as we can hold this tomorrow, I think as soon as that report comes out, I think tomorrow night and Thursday, possibly even Friday, will be big runs. I think we'll get that leg up that will get us back to the all-time highs at that point. Again, just stalling for that report. And then we do have Mr. Powell on Friday, although he is not, I think he's actually talking about something related, environmental changes, I believe, to be honest. So Powell is talking on Friday about environmental changes. So it's nothing specific related to inflation, although anytime he is publicly speaking, he is always asked these questions. So just be mindful of that for Friday. He will be on the horn with that information. So QQQ in itself, it's still holding range. Everything is holding range. Again, just tight ranges. We get pumps in the morning and then essentially sell-offs at night, or sell-offs at night and pumps in the morning. Nonetheless, everything is keeping tight range, and then we get days where we just completely obliterate, which is seeming to be towards the end of the week. What is the pattern that we've had for the past couple of weeks is essentially we sell off the first couple of days of the week is essentially in the Wednesday, and then we turn around and we kind of make back all that lost ground plus some towards Thursday, Friday. So that is a pattern I'm kind of sticking with for the next couple of weeks until it changes. If there's tapering and stuff like that, I do expect a heavier pullback at that point. From that point, I think it's going to be all clear once the tapering starts. Once they say they're going to start tapering and they actually taper, I think that we'll see a major correction at that point. But then again, it was said not to come until next year, but again, the Fed keeps releasing random information that gets out on Twitter that's dropping the market. These little news articles or tweets or whatever the case is, and then we continue to push back up. As this is a temporary pullback is what it's being, but once it's actually implemented, I think there'll be more of a pullback. Not saying that there won't. I mean, the market could just be like, okay, now we understand it might just be another temporary pullback, small pullback, and then we'll take off. But I think once we officially get that word, then I think the market is really going to start accelerating at that point. But nonetheless, QQQ is still playing range. Like I said, tomorrow I think is going to be a big day. Let me pull up the watch list for tomorrow. Again, Tesla, our lead indicator. BYND, an article came out yesterday as well, essentially talking about, I guess there was another hacking as far as a meat factory or something like that. So it reduced, I think, I want to say it was like a quarter of the meat being produced. So BYND could get the leverage, and it did push just a couple of days ago, and is landing on a 200 EMA. So I found that to be quite intriguing. Everything essentially is becoming quite aligned with BYND for tomorrow. VYGVF, Voyager app, I think is set up good on the daily. AMC, continuation play, and a lot of hype on that one. This one I highly suggest you be, if you aren't a seasoned veteran, I really wouldn't mess with AMC, only because of the fact I think it can pull back and drop quite dramatically once it does to sell. And if you're not prepared for that or don't have any kind of risk management, that could be extremely detrimental. Again, this is not financial advice. So Tesla for today. I did swing Tesla calls over the weekend, so I had this nice pop. I actually got out at this pop, and I didn't like the momentum. I noticed it died out as soon as it got up. I didn't even retest. It hit that pre-market high and really started stalling really bad. I got out there. Wanted to actually try to break above this 635 for another re-entry to take it up, but it didn't even get there. The market started dying out and then just continued to bleed off. And one thing to keep in mind too, towards the end of the day, there was a lot of old news being circulated from Tesla about lawsuits and everything. So I wouldn't actually be surprised if this pulled back even more tomorrow. But ultimately, why I have this on the watch list, because if it does pull back any kind of significance, if we go back to that 602 mark again tomorrow, more than likely I'll try to load at that point. I really don't want it to break this 200, but if it does, 602 is the next mark, and then the 650 mark is what we're looking at next from that point. So if it does do any kind of pullback, I'm definitely looking at shares again, loading a lot of shares and leaps on this particular go around, because I think these 50 to $80 moves, right, that Tesla has playing this range are still nice to capture when it's playing these tight ranges like this, because a lot of times you got to kind of work well with what you're given. And there really isn't a lot. So just being said, I'm watching that. BYND is the other one, like I said, for tomorrow. Whoops. So BYND is the other one I have. On the daily or on the hourly, it doesn't look great. It looks like it's actually under a lot of support. Held well here. But ultimately what I like about the daily is that it is holding. It had that momentum just last week, and then it is holding the 200. It is holding the linear regression line. We got all the support coming up underneath. I would actually be surprised if we make a run attempt to make a run 180 or so, given it lost up a lot of ground before. Again, I was looking for a bigger push earlier and I didn't actually see the consolidation. I didn't want it around that 100 mark just because the last news that came out or the earnings that came out really leveled it pretty hard. But now we're starting to push up. I wouldn't actually be surprised if we attempt to at least try to go to that 160 mark, 180 possibly. When we make another 200, I heard Wall Street Bets was around this latest push because it being one of the most shorted stocks. So that is something to keep in mind. But I do like chart wise, I do like it a lot for tomorrow. So we'll see how that one plays out. Voyager is the next one I have. Voyager is one. Again, I do like on the daily. I like the breakout. It is holding. I'm actually trying to get in shares. I'll try to get in shares tomorrow and see how this one plays out. I do like this one for a longer swing. Try to aim to look for another, at least try to hit that 30 mark or that $27, $28 mark, roughly try to make up some ground here. I think it's got great potential here and it looks fantastic on the daily. Voyager, I think, really has a lot of potential, especially if coin and crypto starts really picking up again. Voyager might start running up with that as well. And then the last one I got here is AMC. AMC looks way over bots, but the momentum is definitely there even after hours. Even today, I missed it twice. I was trying to grab it. I did miss it, and then it had a nice little pop, and then this popping after hours is really starting to move. So I wouldn't be surprised if this opens up pretty high tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll actually be looking for a pullback. Given where it is now, I think, again, if it's up at 40, 45 tomorrow, definitely be watching the middle Bollinger Bands on the hourly is what I'm looking at for that retest like it did here. Look for a position, have a really tight stop, so I don't want to fall below that, and then at least play that bounce and then keep that stop really tight on that if it continues to push up. But I think momentum can really carry this even more, so that is something I'm watching. Again, with everything that is going on, I think you really have to just follow momentum right now. I don't really like the fact that meme stocks really don't have any significance behind them other than they're a meme stock. But AMC does have, it does have some legit business behind it. GME, right? It went bankrupt and there was a lot of issues with it, but AMC, I think, has more value in my opinion. So, being said, I think it'd definitely be a better play. But remember to manage risk and just keep grinding. We're gonna get there. We got to get through all this inflation stuff. It's been a long 2 months, but just be patient and it will come and we will get there. So until next time, guys, I will see you guys later.